welcome to our English class. For this lesson, our objectives are the following. First, identify and define the story elements. Second, analyze the story by identifying its elements. And third, recognize its importance in understanding a story. Developing a solid understanding of the elements of a story is very important for you students to follow and fully comprehend the stories that you are reading. Let's have now the basic story elements that you have studied in your previous years. So we have the setting, the character, plot, conflict, and theme. First is the setting. It refers not only to the physical location but also the time the action takes place. Where and when a story occurs can affect what characters do, how the plot unfolds, and whether the reader can connect with the author's choices. In short, setting is the where and the when of a story. Character is the next one. It depends on the nature of the story, and the characters are most often people or even animals. Writers use characters to perform the actions and speak the dialogue of a story. They are the one who move a story's plot forward. Let's go now to the character types. Do you remember the character types? We have the protagonist, antagonist, dynamic, and static. When we say protagonist, these are the main characters whose journey we follow throughout the story. When we say antagonist, they are also known as foil. The character whose goals come up against the protagonist leading to conflict. In short, they are the one who make conflict in the story. When we say dynamic, these are the characters who change as a result of the events in the story. They can be good at the beginning and at the end they will become bad, and vice versa. When we say static, these are the characters who do not change during the course of a story. Next thing we have is plot. This relates to the events that happen in a story. Every story needs a beginning, middle, and end. Skillful stories typically have a straightforward plot and yet also manage to surprise the reader with plot twists that create interest. Let's go now with the plot structure. Are you familiar with the plot structure? We have first exposition, or the beginning of the story. The opening of the story usually provides background information on the characters and setting. It introduces the main characters, gives details that help to establish the setting, and may also explain what happened before the story began. Next one is the rising action. The main character or the protagonist reacts to the initiating event by taking steps to achieve a goal or resolve a problem. A force, however, is in conflict with is Next one is conflict. Conflict is the point where the protagonist and antagonist interests collide. In a story, it creates and drives the plot forward. Characters must act to confront these forces, and there is where conflict is born. Actually, there are different types of conflict and different stories, but they are only categorized into two. We have the internal conflict and the external conflict. When we say internal conflict, it occurs when a character struggles with something within themselves, such as fear or insecurity. Internal conflict is when a character struggles with their own opposing desires or beliefs. External conflict exists between a character and something else, like another character, nature, society, or fate, outside of the character's control. This sets a character against something or someone beyond their control. External forces stand in the way of a character's motivations and create tension as the character tries to reach their goals. Next element is theme. It refers to the underlying insight, the moral or idea that the writer is expressing through the story. In short, this is what the author is trying to convey. Now that we are done with the basic elements of the story, let's go now to the advanced story elements. We have point of view, tone, style, and mood. First is the point of view. It refers to who is telling or narrating a story. The point of view of a story is the perspective from which a story is told. We can have the first person, second person, or third person. In the first person point of view, the person telling the story is a character, and usually the main character, and speaks from an I perspective. Next one is second person. A second person point of view allows you to experience the story through a you perspective. This point of view is not as common as first or third person point of view. Lastly, third person. A third person narrator tells a story that is happening to other people. A narrator can be omniscient, where they know about all events and characters, or only limited, where they follow only one or a few characters. Next is tone. Tone is the general feeling of a story or scene, which the author establishes with vivid word choice. Next one is style. Style is the individual author's unique voice, and it is again evidenced in their word choices, plot patterns, sentence structures, etc. Style refers to the writer's choice of diction, sentence structure, literary techniques, and use of rhythm. The last one is mood. It is about the effect the writer creates in the reader and how they evoke it through their use of language. Let's differentiate tone and mood. Tone simply refers to how the author feels towards the subject or towards something, while mood refers to the feeling of the atmosphere the author is describing. It is what the author makes you feel when you read his writings.